Something ancient is waking up tonight, not through prophecy, not through chaos, but through silence. This isn't just a Friday. It's Friday the 13th under a waning moon. And when those two meet, unspoken forces begin to listen back. Have you noticed strange thoughts looping, or forgotten memories surfacing like whispers? You're not imagining it. If you're drawn here, you were summoned. And what follows isn't content. It's contact. Be prepared. Today dawned like any ordinary Friday, yet some are now discovering the weight of words better left unsaid. While Friday the 13th might seem like mere folklore, a remnant of ancient fears, tonight transcends mere numbers. It's about the power of speech, or rather, the wisdom of silence. Some revelations are entrusted only to those who understand the burden of unspoken truths, and whether you realize it or not, today tests your discretion. If this day feels somehow distinct, as if it exists in its own peculiar dimension, perhaps you'll feel compelled to document it. Should you choose to, you might include 1313 to mark this singular occasion. For those seeking signs, remain vigilant. A particular insight awaits, but only for those who maintain complete silence today. The reasoning behind this will become clear, so continue reading. But before we delve deeper, there's something crucial you must understand, as this isn't an ordinary Friday. This one carries a distinct message. Every Friday the 13th speaks, but only to those who listen carefully. It's calculated precision masquerading as chance. Each occurrence whispers unique truths. Some bring clarity through fog. Others deliver warnings like lightning in clear skies. This particular one arrives wrapped in disorientation, making familiar thoughts skip like a scratched record, turning the ordinary slightly askew. That's not anxiety you're feeling. It's contact. That's the message grazing your consciousness, trying to catch you in the liminal space. Perhaps you've been questioning things lately, taking second glances at what you'd normally overlook because this puzzle arrives without instructions. You are the key component. But wait, there's another crucial layer to consider. Today's most vital aspect. Energy flows unusually today. It's subtle but precise, focused, observant. If you feel compelled to share your plans, to reveal what you've been crafting, what you're about to undertake, or what you're preparing behind closed doors, resist. Not today. This particular Friday the 13th reacts poorly to premature revelations, not out of malice, but because certain energies collapse under the weight of vocalization. Today calls for silent alignment rather than vocal proclamation. The timing might feel perfect, like you're perched on the precipice of something magnificent and longing for witnesses, but proceed with caution. Not all who watch do so with pure intentions. Some observe with predatory interest. Not everyone who listens does so with supportive hands, so guard it closely. Your choices, your insights, your future steps, they require silence now, not applause, not even gentle curiosity, just stillness. Let your achievements speak when they're ready, not when excitement overwhelms patience. A deeper reason exists for this, one that most overlook. Today has an unusual way of reflecting energy back upon itself. Words behave strangely today. What's said with one intent takes on unexpected life. Intentions become distorted, plans diluted, momentum dissipates. So if you're tempted to reveal what's coming, pause. Today, privacy isn't secrecy, it's protection. And that protection only holds if you allow the mystery to work undisturbed. But perhaps the most peculiar aspect, you might not comprehend what you've agreed to until tonight's rest. Tonight's dreams aren't mere subconscious wanderings. They might appear nonsensical, misplaced people, impossible doorways, symbols that evaporate upon waking. But something else seeps through, a quiet signal woven into the chaos, like whispers from behind an invisible barrier. Some dreams aren't messages, they're agreements. Tonight's sleep might feel like brushing against forbidden memories. Some will wake with fragments, an unknown word cycling through their mind, non-existent yet heavy with meaning. Others might sense a strange covenant lingering in their body, as if they've agreed to something they can't quite recall. If you wake with an indescribable sensation, don't dismiss it. Let it exist. Let it breathe, because understanding often arrives later. Sometimes messages wait for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. And it's not random. These dream echoes connect to something larger, an overflow of energy that couldn't manifest during waking hours. Perhaps your defenses were too high, or perhaps the message resists logical filtering. Tonight's dreams might not be dreams at all. Remembering inexplicable details or recognizing unfamiliar faces. That's not confusion. That's exposure. Something even more unusual. Some won't remember their dreams, but will sense missing something, as if a message went astray. But perhaps it didn't. Perhaps it still circles. Something watches tonight. Not your actions, but your attention. What keeps drawing your focus today? That persistent image, that recurring sound in your mind's background, that stubborn idea that won't release its hold. You didn't choose this. Not really. A magnetic thread runs through this day, woven by lunar influence. It doesn't demand attention. It pulls gently, purposefully, enticingly. You don't choose what attracts you. What attracts you chooses you. The persistent thought, the recurring color, the video that holds you longer than expected, even without clear reason. These aren't random distractions. They're signals, subtle breadcrumbs, the moon's method of highlighting what demands your attention. Here's the truth. Spiritual energy rarely announces itself clearly. It doesn't send formal notifications. It doesn't always manifest in easily interpreted dreams or signs. Sometimes it simply redirects your gaze, turns your ear toward a sound, makes you linger. That's all it needs. And if you're not monitoring your own attention, you'll miss it entirely. Boredom contains purpose, it's redirection, especially tonight. Tonight isn't about actions, but observations. What holds your attention, even momentarily too long, speaks directly to your unconscious memory. If you've been dismissing something today, repeatedly telling yourself it's nothing, stop. Reconsider. Because today, nothing is never just nothing. Look again, listen deeper. Understanding might elude you now, but you were meant to notice it. The moon doesn't question, it simply tracks what repeatedly draws you back. And the more you resist, the more insistent it becomes. The recent full moon didn't simply conclude. Most view lunar phases as gradual transitions, waxing and waning, fading quietly into darkness. But this one departed abruptly, like someone exiting a room while leaving their presence behind. That departure left an imprint, a spiritual residue. Not visible, not measurable, but palpable. If the full moon was a message, we now experience its echo. Sometimes the most powerful aspect isn't the arrival, but what remains in its wake. And today marks the moment that echo becomes perceptible. Not audibly, but through strange sensations, inexplicable intuitions, slightly altered spaces, moments of stillness that feel pregnant rather than peaceful, as if something remains unfinished. You might notice it in hesitation before responses, or sudden memories of unexperienced events. You might feel it as pressure, not physical but temporal, like moments stretching slightly too long. It's not imagination. That's the moon's lingering mark. And it didn't leave it for everyone. Only those sensitive enough will detect its trace. It defies clarity and logic. It's an energetic signature, and if you sense it, you're among those meant to utilize it. But here's the twist. This message arrives not through words, but through absence. Not all messages appear. Some emerge in what's missing. Consider, what should be present but isn't? What did the moon take, and what did it fail to erase? Because upon discovery, you'll realize this wasn't merely a lunar phase. It was a departure. And what remains waits for recognition. Not all messages should survive. Not all truths should persist, especially not today. A strange current flows through the air, whispering incomplete thoughts, ideas rising and vanishing rapidly. You might experience sudden revelation, a phrase, a name, a perfect concept, and instinctively reach for ways to record it. Resist, because today differs from others. What flows through your intuition isn't mere imagination. It's part of a higher current, and that current resists containment. Some insights aren't meant for preservation. They should pass through like wind through an open space. The moon, currently retreating, neither full nor absent, acts like a clouded mirror. It reflects imperfectly. It mimics. It transforms. Today, anything recorded will shift from its original form. It will distort. You might think you're capturing pure thought, but in this phase, recording it prematurely forces ethereal energy. That's confinement. Uncontained energy, when forced, corrupts. It becomes something else, something stagnant, unusable, confusing. The inspiration you thought you captured may become burdensome, haunting, lingering as an incomplete thought that taints future creativity. The mind flows like water, but writing solidifies like stone. Let today's messages come. Let them whisper, shift, flicker, then release them. Yes, it contradicts instinct. Yes, it might feel like loss. But some truths must dissolve rather than persist. Trapping them in writing transforms them into something else, something perhaps not meant for you. Listen deeply today. Follow feelings, but don't attempt to capture them. If they're meant to return, they will. And when they do, they'll arrive ready. But forcing them into form now will bring them back wrong, perhaps with unwanted additions. An ancient rhythm exists beyond common perception, a hidden timekeeper behind the calendar. It ignored schedules, routines, and clocks. This rhythm only aligns when two rare conditions converge: a full moon and Friday the 13th, separated briefly. When they meet, something ancient awakens, something meant to remain hidden. This isn't mythology. It's not superstition carved in ancient texts. It's a mechanism, a spiritual valve, and tonight it turned. The 13th seal isn't physical. It's a frequency, a threshold between accepted reality and what quietly waits beneath. You might feel it not as revelation, but as tension, weighted silence, the kind of quiet that seems to listen back. That's the opening. Today's silence carries substance. It presses insistently. It fills rooms, follows in hallways, settles between thoughts. You might find yourself stopping mid-action without knowing why. Something beneath reality just shifted, a hidden door opened. And regardless of your beliefs about seals, portals, alignments, your body recognizes the change. The 13th seal isn't fiction. It's a barrier that thins only when moon and date align. When they do, information seeps through, but not as clear messages or visions. That would be too simple. It manifests as pressure, distorted memories, emotional déjà vu, the sense of displacement without proof. This isn't fear. It's recognition without context. Some will ignore it, dismiss it as coincidence. But others, those who feel it without understanding, have touched something sacred, something ineffable. Not dangerous, but certainly extraordinary. And now that the seal has moved, you can't unfeel it. You might rationalize it, but this day will remain distinct because something escaped, or perhaps something finally entered. Some messages shouldn't echo. They should remain locked within, intact, unspoken, unshared. Tonight exemplifies this. This isn't time for affirmations, declarations, or sharing realizations through any medium. Tonight offers not content but contact, and contact dissolves upon exposure. Something sacred unfolds behind this night's veil, a transmission beyond language. It's subtler, denser, like spiritual fragrance on ethereal wind. Those who feel it simply know. It might strike while performing mundane tasks or during conversation, when your mind suddenly shifts to a place defying logic yet feeling profoundly true. Or perhaps it arrives as borrowed memory, something feeling ancestrally inherited. This isn't information, it's inheritance. Here lies the crucial point. Tonight's message belongs solely to you. Speaking it aloud, even to trusted confidence, diminishes it, not through lost power, but because it was never meant to multiply. It's not a seed, it's a seal. Exposure to others' understanding begins its distortion. Not all knowledge demands sharing. Some truths are personal encryptions, frequencies resonating only within your field. Telling breaks it, explaining dissolves it. If tonight brings profound understanding, resist recording it. Don't trap it in words. Let it settle, integrate, become intuitive rather than intellectual. Because here's the truth. Tonight's revelations might not make immediate sense. They're not meant to. These aren't puzzle pieces but time-locked codes meant for your future self to decode. But only if the seal remains intact. Treat it like a ghost's whisper, heard once, meant for you alone, carrying weight beyond language. Some truths lose essence when forced into logic. Let tonight remain mysterious. Honor the message's privacy, because if you do, it continues revealing itself. But breaking silence breaks connection, and future revelations will never quite align tonight. It requests silence beyond mere quiet. True silence, releasing the need to grasp, allowing messages to arrive without expectation. Silence isn't void. It's invitation without interference. Every attempt to interpret current feelings creates barriers to truth. We're taught to process every signal, name it, make it digestible. But some truths resist digestion. They require stillness, receptivity, space. Tonight might bring answers, but only if you resist questioning. The moon now resembles a sealed chamber, opening only in the absence of knocking. The less you demand, the more it offers. Monks meditate silently for hours with purpose. Sacred rituals begin in quiet deliberately, not from lack of words, but because silence permits pure, unfiltered entry. Tonight, Friday the 13th, offers that purity, but only to those who stop seeking it. Trying to extract meaning from this night will fail, but sitting with it, truly present, letting breath slow and resisting the urge to force meaning, reveals previously unseen patterns, shadow movements across floors, sudden stillness in previously noisy spaces. None accidental, all messages manifesting. Silence transcends quiet. It embodies active listening. Here's the hidden truth. Entering that space, achieving true quiet, not only changes your perception, but invites something to perceive you. Your body becomes receptive, thoughts quiet enough for pure awareness. The moon communicates differently. It responds. Tonight, it listens for those patient enough to feel heard. Maintain silence, not from lack of words, but because something sacred prepares to speak. Remain quiet enough, and you'll hear what's been withheld all along. Your presence here isn't random, algorithmic, or accidental. You didn't discover this. It discovered you. This isn't metaphorical. Your pause while scrolling marked recognition by something predating memory. Today carries an underlying frequency. Most miss it, but you felt it. Something drew you here before conscious awareness caught up. This isn't coincidence, but resonance, like a hidden note vibrating for those ready to remember. When moon meets the 13th, certain individuals activate, not through knowledge, but through feeling. Ancient, familiar, undeniable. It came not for information, but because something within you answered a call. Some truths speak only when witnessed. Some people awaken only when recognized. Now here, you can't unfeel this. This wasn't content, a contact. The moon didn't merely rise. It reached out. You've been noticed, and what's awakened can't be reversed.
So now consider, what happens when ancient forces begin following you?
Wait.
If you're still watching, thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed this content and want more, please consider subscribing. Your support means everything. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.